Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the New Normal podcast with Lee and Chantelle.
Hello, Chantelle. Hello, everybody. I'm
What we
hyped.
got going on today?
Haven't seen you guys in a while.
What do you mean? We record every week. You're trolling me.
Okay, so
So,
first of all, I'd like to give two shout outs.
oh, whoa. Here we
First
go.
shout out to 94.5.
Why?
I don't know what the equivalent is in other cities, but it's basically the radio station for popular songs. It is free, amazing, first of all, okay? And it has given me a lot of great songs.
Okay.
The most recent example is Jalebi and Temperature.
What?
Okay, it's new and old, which I just found out today. The Temperature is a song from 12 years ago, but I didn't know.
Gosh.
When I heard it, I was on the highway driving, and then Jalebi and Temperature came on the radio back to back.
Okay.
Keep in mind, I heard both of the songs for the first time that night, and I got so hyped, I started violating all types of traffic recommendations.
Okay, we didn't want to know that. We didn't need to know that. And I love the way you just said traffic recommendations.
Yeah. Also known as traffic laws for 99% of people, because they need guidance in driving. Whereas the top 1% driver like me, sometimes my judgment is superior than the recommendations. So there are recommendations to the top 1% like me.
Now you definitely know on the highway you're going to be targeted because you said that in public. Sorry, any sirs listening to this. This is not from me. This is from my boyfriend.
But anyways.
And keep in mind, Lee didn't grow up here. That's how he does not know Temperature.
Oh, also, Jalebi is an Indian song and Temperature is a Jamaican song, which makes them extra dope. For any of you who haven't heard it, go check it out. It gets you hype.
Okay.
But anyway, so
Was
second
not
shout out.
expecting you to open with that.
Huh?
Was not expecting you to open with that.
Yeah, you got to. The music turns things around. As Grimes would say, music is like a conversation with all of you that come before you. So, but anyway, wow, okay. So the second shout out is to Mary Brown's. Okay.
Oh my.
I'm pretty sure most of you don't know. Mary Brown's is a fried chicken chain restaurant, and in my opinion, is the #1 fried chicken in the world.
Whoa, that's a big statement. Now, all of you who dispute this comment,
well, you gotta try it first before you dispute this shit, okay? You can't just be disputing it.
No, you gotta give some incentive, like try out our place, invite us to your city,
No, I gotta wait for them to sponsor me to do all that.
That's what I'm saying.
But I've tried KFC multiple times. I've tried what's that fried chicken place called?
Churches.
Churches? Yeah, I've tried Churches. I've tried
LA Chicken.
What's that American chain? Popeyes. Yeah, I've tried Popeyes multiple times. I've tried Jollibee. I've tried Wing Chicken. So I have a little bit of a credential on talking about this. Okay, so I've tried them all, and I think Mary Brown's has the best, especially food to price ratio, value ratio. It's the highest. Mm-hmm. The problem is they are now very, although I haven't done any research, but from the sense I'm getting, they are not very good at business. Like must be pretty good at business to get to this big, but then they're not as good as like McDonald's, Burger King, Popeyes.
You're talking about marketing then.
Not only marketing, but like all types of, you know, location selection and logistics and all types of, like, for example, if you go to McDonald's all around the world, they all taste the same. Like, even if, you know, the ingredients are like Chinese beef and Russian beef and American beef are different, but then they can make out burgers, all taste the same. Whereas Mary Brown's, I went to 2 different locations and they taste kind of different. You know, that's like one of the examples. But I think if they, which for restaurants, 10% is how good food is and 90% is business. So it's probably like, even though their food is better than everyone else, it's probably be hard for them to compete. But if they do the correct steps, I think within the 5 to 10 years, they're gonna be known, like become well known like Popeyes. And starts from here, from the 23 subscribers to go try it.
What the heck? Well, I kind of like that nobody knows about it yet, because then people start knowing about it, they might jack up their price, which is would be
That's
really
why I'm giving them a shout out right now before, you know, so then they later on they can look back and be like, yo, that's the real supporter, you know. Before anybody call them number one, it takes guts, you know, to call a underdog number one.
Like, and you're all about the underdog, right?
Well, not always, but you know.
For the most part. I do really like the chicken sandwich, because I have also, similar to you, well, like tried chicken sandwiches, and like
all the times
Mary Brown's chicken sandwich.
All the times I went to try fried chicken, you always been on the passenger seat.
What do you mean?
You're
I take a bite or two.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, I'm the driver and you're in the passenger seat, so you're in all of the places I've been to. Everywhere I go, like, you're by default are there.
Well, of course.
Yeah.
We come as a pairing.
You're a shotgun, which I never figured out why that's called shotgun. But anyway.
Me neither. If someone could define down below.
Yeah, back in high school, I was like one of the only few people that can drive, and the people that hang out with me, one of them loves to call shotgun, like every time. Like, we just get up to go anywhere, he's a shotgun. I never know why, but anyways. So yeah, I just thought, because I have this thing where I like to try restaurants few times, and I like to give it like some time in between and then go back and try it again to make sure like I really like it, which is what I did with Mary Brown's. And today it validated that I think it is number one fried chicken to me. So I like to give them a shout out.
Or was it because you got the center breast?
We're not gonna nerd out on our subscribers about chicken parts. Okay?
There is a secret menu that we unlocked today, but you'll have to find out on your own, and that's why you have to go visit Mary Brown's.
Yeah, I don't know how interesting that is, so let's not talk about it. But their regular thing. Oh, maybe it's interesting to mention that other fried chicken places, if you go get a 3-piece, it's drumstick and thighs. This place is drumstick and breasts. This is side breasts. I don't know anybody cares, but the key difference is it's thighs for most fried chicken places, and for this place is a breast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So now let's move on to our next topic. or should I say the first topic?
Sure.
So UFC, what was it? 274?
I don't even know, actually.
Anyways, we'll call it 274.
Oh my gosh. Just know it's Oliveira and oh man, I'm blanking out. Oliveira and Gaethje.
Whatever, just ended this Saturday.
Yes.
So we watched the last three fights. The first fight is Rose Namajunas versus Carla Esparza.
No, it wasn't. It was freaking Chandler and Ferguson.
Oh yeah, right. You're right.
Come on.
You're right for the first time on record.
Come on. I've been right.
Okay. So the first fight is Tony Ferguson versus Michael Chandler. And Tony Ferguson dominated the first round, but then Chandler came back with a up kick, whatever that kick is called. Basically, he lifted up his legs straight and knocked out Ferguson with one of the most vicious knockouts ever. What do you think about that fight?
He was like, Ferguson was out, like stone cold out, and like I was shook. I think like the whole pub place wherever we were at was like shook. Like I don't even know what to say. I know Chandler's good, and I was giving the fight to Chandler to begin with, but damn, I didn't know that Ferguson would be out so quick like that. I don't know. I'm speechless.
Yeah.
But also like Ferguson did really well in the first round too. Like he did look really good. So it's like, I don't know if it's luck or like what. The timing was like so perfect.
Yeah, it's a like combination of luck and instinct.
Yeah.
And observation, I guess, because Tony Ferguson always fights with his hands on his side. So the center is open. So then Chandler saw that, but he admitted in the backroom interview that he almost never practiced that kick. He just saw the center is open and he just threw it, and it hit, which makes it extra crazy because Tony Ferguson's chin is like well known for being tough. He fought Justin Gaethje and got hit to the head like multiple hundreds of times, and he still didn't get knocked out. And this time it's a one kick, and then he was out for like 5 minutes or something. He was lay there for 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's the thing that was scary too. Like I didn't ever see anyone get knocked out for that long. Like I think the cameras didn't even know what to do. Like it was just panning around, like all on Chandler, like nothing on Ferguson, because I don't know if they could put that, like maybe they could put it on camera, but like it's also like I don't know.
Because the main thing is to highlight the winner. They're not there to show how badly the person lost.
Yeah, but also like he was down for a long time, felt like on air.
Yeah.
So
I've seen it like that before, but then the difference is most of the times it's cumulative damage. Is someone get beaten down and eventually get knocked out, and you can see why. But whereas this time Chandler almost like never touched Ferguson before, and just one shot. There's no follow-up either. Just boom, one shot, and he's out for like that long. That was crazy.
Yeah. And he fell too in a way where he's just like head down, like just everything turned off.
Yeah, I think the lesson that I took away from that is, like you gotta use the right method and approach. Like Justin Gaethje went the hard way against Ferguson, and he punched him like 500 times and still couldn't knock him out. Whereas for Chandler, he found the right way and the right approach, and it's that easy to knock him out. And that's like same thing with a lot of problems. All the problems in the world people are trying to solve is like a lot of people try so hard to work at it, but then they're using the wrong approach and it doesn't do much. Whereas if you find the right person who knows how to solve the problem, it like takes them nothing. Yeah, I forgot who I heard it from, but somebody said you need the right approach, otherwise working hard is just wasted energy. So that's and also after Tony Ferguson got up, he still looked confused for like the rest of the time he was on camera, which was pretty crazy too. Anyways, so I've watched Ferguson for a long time, and he ends up like this is pretty sad. He was like up there being talked about as one of the greatest, and people were saying he got to fight Khabib to see who is the greatest. And now seeing him ends up being like this, it's pretty sad. I hope he retires and now, like for
He's
his,
older too, though.
yeah, he's like 38.
Yeah.
But fighters still have this thing where if they get knocked out or they lose on their last fight when they want to retire, they always want to come back and get one back and like on a higher note type of thing.
Yeah.
But that's just, what does that do? That's just ego. I hope he doesn't do all that. It's he take care of himself and all of that.
Yeah.
But anyways, so next fight. So after this exciting fight, it's Rose Namajunas versus Carla Esparza. So in this fight, basically nothing happened in the first 3 rounds. And then 4th and 5th, they started engaging a little bit, but still minimal. And at the end, they gave a split decision to Esparza. So she won the championship away. She took the championship away from Rose Namajunas. What do you think about this fight?
Jeez, this fight was the most boring fight I've ever seen. Like, I seen Jorge and Usman fight and just stick to the cage and all this toe stomping. At least there's some action. And then there's Sterling and what's his name now? Peter Yan, yeah. And then they were just on the ground, but at least they were doing something. Oh man, Rose and Carla's fight was so boring, the most boring fight ever. Like they were doing nothing, like nothing. And like in the interviews, like Rose was saying all this stuff, like, oh, like Carla, I don't think a champion should be with Carla, like blah blah blah. I just want to stick to my strategy, bruh. Like Rose, yo, wake up. What the hell? You don't deserve like anything. At least like Carla was trying to do something, trying to do the takedowns. She attempted what she could. But like Rose did nothing at all. Like sure, she threw a few punches here and there. Like Carla did that too. Didn't really land, didn't do any damage. Like what am I watching here? Like a sparring session? Get out of here. Like
even sparring is more exciting than that.
Yeah, exactly. And then for Rose to have any kind of opinion on it like that, like you didn't, it seemed like you didn't deserve the championship to begin with because like she didn't do anything. So that's my thoughts on it. Like if, and like also like where's the show? Give a show then, give something. Like if you're that good, then do something and like not be scared. Like I don't know. I was just so disappointed in that fight. Waste of my time.
What happened was both of them are a little too one-dimensional. Rose is good at striking, but she's afraid of the wrestling. Whereas Carla is good at wrestling, but she tries her best to avoid striking. And both of them are bad at defense. That was the problem, the main problem. When they feint, like when they try to fake a punch or a kick or whatever, their defense is backing up. So that's what they did the whole time. So when they saw, they thought something was coming, they just back up. So that's why they never engage. Whereas a better person with better defense would do is take angles. So if you take an angle to the side, you will make the other person miss, but you're still in range to attack them. So you still be able to counter them. Whereas if you back up, you're just completely disengaged and nobody can touch each other.
Yeah. Which is what I thought Rose would do because Rose actually has a longer reach. Like, I don't know what her issue is. Like, she had all the advantages over Carla in a way.
Yeah, that's I think a common theme of the night is the poor defense. All of three, the people who lost, like Rose and Gaethje and Ferguson, is they've been winning because they overwhelmed the opponent with their offense. so to cover up their defense, but their defense has always been lacking. But I was watching Gordon Ryan, who's like arguably the best grappler, like the best jiu-jitsu guy of all time. He was saying defense is what gives you the ability to give offense. If you are confident on your back, when you're on top, you can go for armbar because you're not afraid of failing the armbar and then get it on your back. Then you just get up and try again because your defense is solid and you can try more attacks because the consequence of failing is so small. Whereas if you're not confident in your defense, you'll be scared to go for an armbar because you'll be like, oh, what if he reverses me, put me on my back, then I can't get up. So that's what happens with Rose, is she's not very confident in her ability to get out if she gets taken down. So that inhibited her ability to put out offense.
Yeah, but also she was like, that was my strategy. What do you mean? No strategy if nothing happens, no?
Well, her strategy, she probably was thinking, oh, I have striking in the bag. As long as I didn't get taken down, I would win.
Yeah,
but
she
then,
got taken down 3 to 4 times, like, and then and then she'd be making comments that she like Carla doesn't deserve it. Like, what?
Well, to me, neither of them deserved it.
What?
To me, neither of them deserved it.
That's what I'm saying. Neither of them. But at the end of the day, at the end of each ledger, it seems like Carla should take it anyways.
Well, like Rose was saying, like she didn't do anything, which is a valid point. Carla didn't do anything, but then the same point goes for her. Rose didn't do anything either. So, it's just like works both ways.
Yeah, but like Carla did have takedowns, even though she didn't do damage, she attempted to. Where was Rose's attempt?
Yeah,
even at takedowns, let's say even at takedowns, how many takedowns did Carla have compared to how many takedowns Rose had? You can't even compare.
But do you give points to defending the takedown and getting up?
Well, did she defend the takedown? She got up, but then did she defend it? No, she still got taken down. That's what I'm saying. Like, what is this based on?
But in a fight, to me, right? I don't know how they judge it, but to me, in a real fight, if you can take me down 1,000 times, that doesn't do anything. Like, to me, that's 0 points to me.
Yeah.
Like, you cannot win a fight by taking someone down.
No, but at the end of the day, if someone were to see that and they're not educated on UFC, they probably would say that Carla won as well because there was more action. Like, nothing was done.
You know what uneducated people do? They would turn on the TV and go to Disney Channel or something.
No, they turn it off because nothing.
Anyways, so the main event, Charles Oliveira versus Justin Gaethje. It's a back and forth fight. Justin Gaethje knocked down Oliveira twice, but he took a lot of damage too. And then at the end, Oliveira knocked Gaethje down and choked him out. What do you think about that fight?
So I really liked Oliveira and Gaethje's fight. It was way more entertaining, obviously. It was like so good off the bat. Like the exchanges were so fast. Like it was just so action packed, like so much going on. So I have no complaints. I always had my bet on Oliveira. That's what happened. Unfortunately, he didn't meet the weight, so it doesn't really count towards anything like the championship, but like at least he kept it, like he won. So yeah, I don't know. It was too good. Way too good. Like I think Gaethje could have been better at his defense, his groundwork could be better. Like all this stuff he knows though. Like I don't know why it was so easy for him. But also Oliveira is that good. So I would actually love to see Oliveira and Habib fight. But I don't think Habib will ever be back. So anyways, those are my thoughts. Pretty simple.
Yeah, that's I think it proves my point of being one-dimensional, where one of the main reasons that Oliveira won is that he got knocked down twice, but when he got knocked down, he gets a chance to recover. Because when he lays on his back, Justin Gaethje is scared to pursue him on the ground. So he just lays there, recover for 10 seconds and get back up and keep on fighting. Whereas when Gaethje gets knocked down, Oliveira jumps on him right away and chokes him out.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't actually realize that when Oliveira was down, what was happening, like what you just explained. Like I didn't realize that too much. I just thought he was just down, like, oh,
Gaethje, well, basically, you can either pursue them and like punch them or choke them, whatever you want, or you have the options to walk away and tell them to stand up.
Yeah.
But then there's no hard rule on forcing them to stand up so they can take their sweet ass time, which Oliveira did, which is smart, But he only has that options because his jiu-jitsu is that scary to Gaethje for him to not follow up. If it was anybody else, Gaethje would have jumped on him, ground and pound, and finished the fight.
True.
Yeah. And also another thing I took away from that is that how important confidence is. Throughout the whole fight, you can see the confidence from Oliveira. Even after getting knocked down twice, it is amazing when he keeps like pressuring forward and he keeps throwing punches. And when Gaethje throw back, usually when people get knocked down die hard, they have like a mini PTSD. They see punches coming, they start like flinching, while they punch, they pull back. But then he wasn't. He just stood like firm and throw his offense. That was crazy.
Yeah.
And and I think people are not giving him enough credit. You're like, oh, he didn't win the belt, so it wasn't that crazy. But to me, it is crazy because why? Habib beat all of these people, like Justin Gaethje, Dustin Poirier, and all of these people. And Habib had a long ass career. He beat these people over like 5 years or something. Whereas Oliveira beat all of the people that Habib beat in 1 year. And he beat them, some of them better, you can arguably say.
Yeah. No, I can agree with that. That's why I'm looking for Oliveira and Habib fight, but obviously it might not even be there because Habib is retired.
Yeah, but Habib got a boy called Islam Makhachev, who is like a better version of Habib. So back in the day, people thought Habib and Tony Ferguson is the ultimate style matchup to figure out who's the greatest. But now I think it's Oliveira versus Islam. Oliveira is the better version of Tony Ferguson, and Islam is the better version of Habib. That matchup will determine,
Such strong statements, such strong comments. I don't know.
In my eyes, Oliveira is already one of the greatest fighter ever lived.
Interesting.
When Habib retired, people were saying, based on his accomplishments, probably no one ever will come close. If they do, it will take a long time. As fast forward like a year later, Oliveira beat everybody Habib has beaten and more. He beat Chandler, Habib never beat, and he beat someone else, I forgot. But it just although he wasn't as dominant because he gets knocked down every fight, whereas Habib has never been knocked down. But if you win the fight at the end, who cares how many times you get knocked down? I don't know. And also another impressive thing, which is kind of funny, is Oliveira says his eyesight is so bad he cannot function at all without the glasses outside. And when he's in the octagon, he sees 3 opponents. And then the reporter got like shocked. They're like, "What do you do?" He was like, "I just punched the one in the middle."
That's actually, that actually is really tough. But also, why doesn't he wear contacts?
I don't think in the fight you can wear contacts. I'm not sure what they do. But if there's a surgery option, he probably should do the surgery.
Yeah, that's intense though. Like really not being able to see like that. I don't know if anyone could ever do that. Because like you need that accuracy, just everything actually.
Yeah. Also, Habib was like good because of his chain wrestling. He like changed one move to the next and to.
Yeah.
Whereas Oliveira, a lot of people didn't see, but to me, like he was so efficient, proficient, whatever the word is, okay? In fighting them, it was crazy. He threw a flying knee.
Or maybe it was proficient. Yeah, continue.
He was throwing a flying knee. And knowing that when you throw a knee, you will like run into the opponent. So afterwards, he threw the knee, he naturally wrapped up the Justin Gaethje's neck with his arm. And then he knows that when you do that, they will try to pull their head out. And just after Justin Gaethje pulled his head out, he punched him in the face. So that's like a combo that's never seen before. Because usually people train them separately. People train boxing and kicking and wrestling. They're like separate. He combined all of them together and anticipating the opponent's reactions. Like he's taken fighting to the next level.
I did notice that too, though. Yeah.
I think he's gonna, if fighters pay attention, he's gonna bring the next wave of evolution of fighting. Yeah, I think people are not giving him enough credits. But anyways, that's that. Now let's shifting gears to business news. Last week, Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger had a annual shareholder meeting. After 3 years, the first time they did an in-person meeting in 3 years because of COVID. And well, first thing is, it is amazing that Warren Buffett is 91 years old, Charlie Munger is 98 years old, and they're managing one of the biggest companies in the world, and they are answering. And the meeting was 6 hours long. They were answering all types of questions for 6 hours. Success aside, money aside, all that aside, I just wish by the time I'm like 98, I could be functioning just as good, have that much stamina and mentally that sharp to keep up with all of the present questions, because they weren't just answering questions from 1970s. They're answering questions about Bitcoin, about Apple, and like all types of things, and they were telling stories. It was amazing. I'm going to tell you 3 stories, okay? But they were telling stories. They're like, this happened in 1964, this happened in 1921. Like it would be amazing that you could remember these things when you're like 50 years old, but then you're 90 something. Like a lot of people don't even remember where they put their keys. Like they fucking, what I'm saying, takes them 3 hours to find their keys to their home. But here they are talking about all like types of things to remember. It was amazing. That's first of all. And secondly, because 6 hours, most people probably didn't watch it. Whereas for a business nerd like me, I watched all of it.
Yeah. You're just also like naturally a fanatic of Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger. So
I'm a fanatic of common sense, and they got it. Not many people got it. They got it. And because I've been following them for a long time, so most of what they said was just repeating their principles, so that I already knew. But then there's three things I thought was interesting that I never heard of. So I'm gonna tell it to you and our 23 friends.
Which, by the way, we still really appreciate.
Yeah. Shout out to you. The third shout out to all 23 of you. Without you, this show wouldn't have made it this far. Okay.
Well, we'll still be doing this. I'm just saying, like, it's just the cherry on top. Just so you guys know.
It's a figure of speech. It's not literally, okay. Actually, it might be literally, actually, now I think about it. Without YouTube, if you think, let's say, we're recording these videos offline, we know that nobody's ever going to be able to watch them. You think we'll record them?
Yeah, we still would.
Even we know that people are watching them, we still don't be recording as much as we should. So I highly doubt it. But anyway, so back to the topic, right? They have an insurance business. It was one of their main businesses for people who don't know. And someone came up and asked the question about nuclear weapons. And he said, you know, you've been covering all this insurance. What if nuclear war breaks out, especially with the new Russian-Ukraine situation? It makes it seem more likely now. And their answer is basically, yeah, the chance is real, but there's nothing we can do. But what's interesting is that they mentioned we actually came very close to one of those events before, which is the Cuban Missile Crisis. And I've heard of it, but I never looked into it. And then because they mentioned it, we came real close, it got me interested. I was like, how close do we come? And then went to YouTube and watched a 5-minute explanation video, and we came real close. It was crazy. Okay. Before this story, the scariest story I've ever heard was Chernobyl, which is a nuclear plant. The core got exposed, and they said the radiation will, what do you call it, come out for the next 9,000 years, and it's gonna kill everybody in Asia and Europe, basically. And that was the scariest story I've ever heard. And after I hear this story, I'm like, this tops it. This is crazy. Okay, so basically what happened was Russia at the time, which is Soviet Union, but doesn't matter. It was just basically Russia put a bunch of missiles in Cuba, and then US is threatened and told them to move it, and they refused. So they started pointing nuclear weapons at each other. And this is not like one nuclear, this is hundreds. Russia got hundreds pointing at US, US has hundreds pointing at Russia. And it was very tense, and the nuclear war could have gone off any moment. And at this time, US found a nuclear submarine from Russia, and they bombed it underwater. And after bombing the submarine, they lost communications. So they don't know what the fuck is going on. They just got bombed, and they're like, oh, maybe a war broke out. We don't know, right? They don't know. There's underwater. And they have a button, right, to push. If they push the button, it will send out nuclear weapons directly to US. So whether it succeeds or fails, the nuclear war will break out, everybody will die. And then on the submarine, there are three top, I don't know what you call them, executives or captains, whatever, right? There's three top people. And to prevent nuclear weapon gets launched too easily, there's a rule that all three of them have to agree to launch it unanimously. And two of them said yes, and only one person said no. And that's why they didn't send a nuclear weapon to US. That's the whole reason why all of us didn't die. All of us exist today because that decision that got made inside of that submarine.
Wow.
Like, imagine the pressure. The submarine is a Russian submarine. Everybody in it is Russian. And everybody, all the Russians are saying, yes, we pushed the button, and we lost communication. We don't know US might have bombed the shit out of Russia right now, and we have a nuclear weapon, we decide to now use it. What the hell? You know? Like the worst comes to worst, we send a nuclear weapon to US, at least it's not us, you know? There's so much pressure like onto that one Russian guy. And as a Russian man, he decided to go against Russian people and, you know, defend peace. That was amazing. That was a round of applause.
Standing ovation. Where is this guy? Who is he? What's his name?
Yeah, there's a whole thing like documentary, and there's awards given to him, all of this, but I didn't know.
Wow.
Which is, you know, this split second thought. Like, can you imagine, like, have you had times where, you know, you had a stance, an opinion or whatever, and you got peer pressured into changing your mind? Imagine that shit happened. Woo! Woo!
Yeah.
Like, none of us would exist. Like, you know how like today we're wondering about our problems, like, oh, you know, what's our identity? What career choice do we want to have? Like, all these problems seem very minimum if that moment didn't happen the way it did.
Yeah.
Einstein has a quote. He said, after they developed nuclear weapons, he said, I don't know how World War III will be fought, but I know how World War IV will be fought, with sticks and stones. Meaning World War III will be so crazy, it will wipe out our entire civilization, technology, everything. Like World War IV will be like, just like, what do you call it? Caveman, like basically. We just go back to caveman times.
It's so freaky.
Yeah, that's like two things crazy about that. One is these like a little split second moments or split thought in a person's decision making could have impacted people, especially like us, like and like people coming up thousands of years. That's crazy. And the second crazy part is right now it's happening again. Russia is just threatening to launch a nuclear weapon again. And when does it end? Like, you know, people are gonna keep threatening it until one day it really goes off and fucking kills everybody. Today is I don't know what's it called. It's Victoria Day or something in Russia. And to celebrate this day, Russia is showing their military. And one of the things they're showing is called Doomsday Plane, which is a plane that flies in the sky, acts as a station for the president to give orders out of when the nuclear weapon, nuclear war is happening. So they have a plane while the land is bombed, all bombed, they're like just flying in the sky, still giving orders to bomb more.
That's messed up.
Yeah. Anyways.
So only the president lives.
Huh?
So only the president lives.
I don't know. This is too crazy. Yeah, that's what Warren Buffett was saying. He was like, the chance, as long as the nuclear weapon exists, the chance of it being launched will always be there. Like, you know, if it didn't launch this time, great, we got lucky, but it didn't disappear. It just gets delayed. One day, eventually, you know, because, you know, and he was like, if a nuclear war breaks out, you have more to worry about than worrying about Berkshire Hathaway and Warren Buffett. And Charlie Munger was like, I know what to do. I will crawl under the table and kiss my ass goodbye.
Oh man.
Yeah.
See, like that humor for a 98-year-old. I hope that stays.
Yeah, I think I would be the same way. It's when I get old, like when you get old, the consequences become real low. If you're like coming up 18 years old, you haven't lived life, the concept of death is so scary. Yeah. But when you're 100 years old, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. You can go any day. You can go, you know, falling down the stairs. It's no different than a nuclear war breaking out.
Jeez, both are very dark.
Yeah, for some reason. All the same. Tiffany Haddish has a joke where she was like, one day when if I hit 70 years old, I'm gonna do all the drugs in the world, starting from
Whoa,
cocaine.
that's messed up.
Yeah, it's a joke, but like but it shows like when you're young, you don't want to do all that to mess up your mind. But when you're old, what do you have to lose?
Yeah. Although some young people still be doing it when they're young, mess up their mind, but this is a different story.
Yeah, so I just thought I'd share that story with you. And then the second story is Warren Buffett. This is the old time true story with Warren Buffett. So back in the day, he took over a bank called the Solomons, and
Oh yes, I like this one.
so he told the story. You don't even know the story. What do you mean you like this one?
I know the Solomons.
So he told the story that the Solomons accounting was audited by the biggest auditing firm at that time. And after he took it over, he had to testify in court, and all types of things happened. And the Solomons and the auditing company pulled him over and told him, we had a merger a while back, and then afterwards we couldn't align the accounting. And there's a number floating around in our financial statements, and it's roughly a little over $100 million. And each month that number changes, and nobody knows where that number comes from. Nobody knows where it's going. But every month, to balance the sheet, we just to make up the number, the difference in the number to balance the sheet. So every month we just make it up, basically. And what Warren Buffett said at the end was, like, to them, they don't really care, because 100 million to them is play money, but to somebody else it isn't. But the takeaway I had was like, the experts don't know what they're doing either. And so don't just trust the expert, be like, oh, this is what it is. And B is like power corrupts. When you have 100 million, you can control 100 million, a billion, 2 billion, you don't care about it. But if you split it into, I don't know, 50,000s and give it to 2,000 people, it might change 2,000 people's lives. So these people really don't care. And if you care, you want to do good, you gotta get yourself into power, into that position, and change things. If you count on these people, you think you're working hard, you're changing life, $40,000 a year at a time, it's not really doing much. So what do you think about that story?
Yeah, no, that's true. I thought you were going to talk about the Reputation one, but I think that's a different company.
No, it's the same that he said in court. He just said,
oh, okay.
Yeah, he just said, if you lose me money, I can forgive you, but if you lose me a shred of reputation, I'll be ruthless.
Yeah. So that's exactly what I was referring to, because that's what the one quote that I really remember from the Solomons trial, right?
Yeah. But the reason why I want to tell these stories is because they are never been told before. Nobody knows these stories. Like, I didn't know them. And I think Warren Buffett's first time publicly telling these stories.
Yeah.
And another quick story, a bonus quick story, okay, that goes along with the same theme, that like, this is a play money to them. So at the time when Warren Buffett was operating a certain business, he needs a letter from the bank to be able to keep operating it, and the bank charged $1 million to do it. And he asked Charlie Munger, what do I do? They charge you $1 million. If they don't give it to me, I can't operate. And Charlie Munger told him, make a list of 10 banks and call from the first down and offer them 50,000. And first one is going to say no, because if he says yes, what's he going to say to everybody else he's been charging $1 million to? Right? So then you go down the list and then everybody's going to say no. So you come back to the first guy and you say, okay, I upped it to 60,000. And then he's going to say no again. And then you go down the list. So like that. So eventually you get to a number that's as low as possible. And Warren Buffett called this first guy. He's like, I offer you 50,000 for this service. You normally charge $1 million. And then he said, sure, no problem. Send it over. Consider it done. And Warren Buffett was like, what the fuck? You know, like, he's like, okay, like maybe it's like a fluke or something. It's the second year, he comes to the same guy again. He's like, okay, because of inflation, I'm going to offer you 100,000 this time. And then the guy's like, yeah, no problem. Send it over. And Warren Buffett was like, what the fuck? How are you going to answer to all those people you've been charging $1 million? And then the guy just said, don't worry, we'll have a meeting. We'll make something up to convince them. Like, they don't care. We don't care, you know, type of thing.
Yeah.
So that just goes to show, like, you know, when like so intimidating, like the lawyer charge you $1,000 an hour, like that's what they're worth. Like you know, you got to pay, you know, like all of these, like, I'm not valuable enough. I should earn $20. Like, that's nonsense. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like the only thing you have to really do is ask. That's just like people in sales. Is like they go in, do a presentation. The last thing that they really have to do is ask for the sale, like ask to close, and they don't do it. So, and then some people be doing like all the ruthless, and you should go in, go straight to business, get to the root of things, and then they get things done. And then other people who be working on their craft or whatever, it's just like, oh, like then they start hating on people who get things done quicker.
Yeah, that's a good point. But like what I'm saying, right? I agree with you.
That's a good point, but
yeah, no,
you didn't quite hit it there.
No, I agree with you. I think that's the lesson you can take away from it. But what I'm saying, the principle is, when people attach price to certain things, you just automatically assume it has a higher value, but not necessarily. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if a purse is $1,000 versus 100,000, you automatically assume, oh, 100,000, it must, the craftsmanship, it must be crazy and this. But then but actually the guy, if you know how to ask the guy, he probably just give it to you for 500. Like, he don't care. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Prices doesn't equal value.
Sometimes.
Or most of the times. That's what investing is. That's the arbitrage between the discrepancy between price and value. That's how you make money. You buy something valuable for a low price because people don't understand, and you avoid all the things that are overpriced. But anyways, that's besides the point. The third, or you can say called fourth story, another true story from back in the day.
So this is a bonus of the bonus.
No, this is the original third story.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just now is the bonus inserted. Third story insert here. But anyways, so this is a pretty interesting story. Let's see what you can take away from this. Which, by the way, is a good point. You know, you should ask. You know, and this story is when Charlie Munger was operating his own business, he had a employee that scammed him, that defrauded his $12,000 of his, and Charlie Munger had insurance covers insurance coverage that covers it, and he made a claim and told the insurance company, give me the 12,000 and this is what happened and all of these things. And the insurance company came back denying it. They were just basically like making any excuse they can. They're like, you know, he's not a real employee. He didn't steal it. You don't have a cat. You know, like, now you live in the South, you know, whatever they can make up. And Charlie Munger wrote a letter to the chairman of the insurance company. And he said, my time is very valuable. And the employee that denies my insurance claims time is not that valuable because they will get paid regardless. Whether they deny me or not, they will get paid. So I feel like you're using an unfair disadvantage against me because my time is valuable and your time is not. So you just deny me, so keep this going and it wastes my time. So I would suggest instead of 12,000, let's raise the stake to 120,000. So then it will be worth my time. If I win, you gave me 120,000. If I lose, I'll give you 120,000. And after that letter, in a week, they mailed a $12,000 check into his mailbox.
It's pretty good. I think I might use that.
You know, the lesson for me is like A, value your time, and B is like, I don't know how to describe it, but this tactic of getting them to understand and see our perspective and see like you really want me to fight, I can fight, but then like what's really the point? Why can't you be honest? Like they mailed him 12,000, it didn't really hurt them, like, you know, type of thing. So what do you think about that story?
So I think that's just a power move. Like I like that. It makes sense. And I would hopefully be able to use that one day because people sometimes be pissing me off for no reason.
Yeah, so it's kind of like a lot of things like you know, like a court case or something. It gets dragged on for years. You know he's gonna win, but then it's just a waste of time. You just tell them, you know I'm gonna win anyway. Like let's save both of us some time. Why were you dragging it on when the result will eventually be the same? Yeah, so I tell these stories because I think they're very interesting lessons in them, and each person will take away different things. And also they're like never been told, and they just kind of like randomly told them between 4 hours and 5 hours. Nobody's gonna, you know, like listen to everything they said and pick out these stories. So I highlighted them, extrapolated them. I read a lot of like self-improvement books and stuff. In the beginning, what I find the most helpful is the ones that directly teaches me what to do. Like they say, you do this and this is why you do this and the things like that. And now I'm getting into more of these books that just lay out the fact that doesn't tell you anything. They're like 1949, this plane crashed because someone didn't maintain it. And that's the end. And then they go to the next story. I'm like, what are you trying to tell me? Like back in the day, I wouldn't read these stories, but now more and more I can see why there's so much value in laying out these, like, I don't know, I don't want to say weird, but like abnormal stories that don't really happen. It takes interesting character and coincidence and luck and psychology, a lot of things combined to make certain event happen. And there's like a different stage in your life, different mindset, different perspective. Reading the same story, you can get different lessons out of it. So that's a really interesting like method of learning. Like, but then you gotta have the ability to extrapolate the lessons yourself instead of the book telling you the lesson. So now I'm trying to, you know, present these stories, not telling you what you should get from them, but, you know, just present them. You get what you get. And I just, on top of it, it's entertaining too. I think they're like very like interesting stories. Like these are the type of stories I wish to tell to my kids and grandkids, because when they're young, they will just remember it because it's entertaining. But then as they grow older, they will draw more and more lessons from the story and, you know, make use of them.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I like it. It's good. I have nothing to say, nothing bad to say about it. It's good.
Okay.
I enjoyed them too. So
Yeah. So yeah, do you want to end or do you want to talk about a little more about other things?
I'm good to end here.
Okay, let's end it then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, anyways, having said all that, don't be normal, be yourself. We'll see you in the next episode. Bye bye.
Bye bye.